Hello everybody, good evening. Welcome to the Friday night show on the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and also get your questions in because it is a Friday night. The end of what has been a good week for Manchester United, if we're being completely honest. I think it has been a good week. The opening of Carrington, we've got a live, we can actually play you Sir Jim Radcliffe's live speech from that because he cut the ribbon. At the end of the day, we're Manchester United and we're never going to fucking stop. Champers. There we go. Champers are on me. In me. We've also got what Amrim's plan B appears to be in relation to Belieber. And obviously I want to talk about where we are basically a week out from the start of the Premier League season for sure. It's a week tonight that Liverpool play Bournemouth, and it's a week on Sunday that we play Arsenal in what looks like it will be the Sesco Gyökeres derby. But look, the reality is I think it's been a good week. It's been a brilliant week for this community, by the way. Thank you everybody who gets involved. Some amazing numbers, new members, new people to join our community. I think that's always a great thing, so welcome if you're new. Okay, let's get into this then. So look, I sort of feel that with Belieber we're going to sign him. So first of all, I just want to say that I do think that we will sign him. As I said, I think there's no smoke without fire, and I think when you get people like David Ornstein involved in a deal, then I'm sure that there is something definitely there going to go on. Interestingly though, we were talking about this morning, and look, I'll stand corrected on this. I mean, this is a source that has been ridiculed for nearly a decade and suddenly got something right. So maybe, maybe it's a change of ownership of the account. I don't know what it is, but look, credit where credit's due. They were right about Belieber. Although to be fair, Ben Jacobs did say a week before. But this has come out tonight from Indicator that Manchester United are pushing to lower Belieber's transfer fee, but if not, they'll target another player. They're also checking with Crystal Palace on Adam Wharton's availability, who has a gentleman's agreement to leave next summer, and that could be brought forward. So look, some people are already in the chat just saying it's just guesswork now. And look, we were talking about Wharton this morning. We were talking about Yulman this morning. So look, I could put a tweet out. You could put a tweet out and say that Man United are going to go for Wharton if they can't get Belieber. Absolutely, you could do that. But Man United have been very interested in Adam Wharton for probably about 18 months. It started pretty much the minute he went to Palace, and he ended last season well. We were looking at him last summer, and there was talk about impossibility, but maybe this summer. And now it's impossible, but maybe next summer. So Wharton's going to leave Palace at some point, and he's definitely a player that Manchester United really do appreciate and like. I mean, I sort of agree with Yanni. I would like to see Wharton and Belieber as our midfield two to build with over the next few years. It's exactly the type of profile that we need. One this summer, one next summer. Bruno goes to Saudi. That sort of works for me. But look, do I think that that's a viable plan B? I think the most important thing is that there has to be, for a multitude of reasons, a plan B to Belieber. There can't be a plan nothing. There has to be a plan B, because if you can't do the deal, he could play a friendly this weekend and break his leg, and then you've got to have a plan B. Brighton could say absolutely not. Belieber could say I'm not leaving for another year. So Man City could swoop in. Man United could say they're not going to pay what Brighton want. There's a multitude of reasons to say why we might not sign Belieber. So we have to have a plan B, because as we've discussed before, we can't say we want Belieber. We really, really want Belieber. There's a huge hole in our midfield, and Belieber's the one to fill it. And then you don't get Belieber and go, I was only joking. I was actually only joking. There's nothing wrong with the midfield. We'll be fine. Well, everything's fine. Everything is fine. I know my house is on fire. I said it was on fire and I called a fire engine. The fire engine's not going to come, so it's fine. I'm just going to walk into this inferno. It's absolutely fine. And it's not fine. So we have to have an alternative. And if it is Adam Wharton, I still think it could be Yulman. It maybe could even be Edison. I think there are 4 options there, and you can rank them as much as you want, but I think we've landed on the right target to go for first. But sometimes you don't always get what you want. Sometimes you get disappointment. Speak to Newcastle, and you have to pivot. And I think that if it is to be Wharton or Yulman or whatever, I think that's a a mature way of doing business because we have to have an alternative in the next few weeks. We can't wait a year and then maybe not get him anyway. So yeah, look, I think that's a good idea. But personally, I think that we will get Belieber. I know a lot of you've said you were very relaxed and you were right about Sesko. It's nice to be relaxed. It's nice to be correct. In fact, it's nice not to have information. We've had a bit of information over the summer and it hasn't always gone the way of the info. And I think with this Sesko one, it was just nice to observe it as a fan and just go, you know, I've played the game. I've played the bloody game. You know, I've played the game. Nonsense. And I just felt that we would do the deal, and I felt that it went exactly the way I predicted it would, and the medical has, and the announcement on the pitch tomorrow. Everything with Sesko has gone exactly as I thought it would go. And I think with Belieber, it will go exactly as I think again. I think I can't give you time. It might be August the 31st. It might be next week. But I think that we've had that first stage of public interest. That is done purposely, by the way. We haven't bid for the player. He hasn't agreed to come to us. But David Ornstein has been used again. And I'm not saying we've used him in a bad way. Man United have actually switched on a little bit here, and I don't know who it is. But Man United last summer, almost planned. Last summer, Manchester United basically shut down the Manchester Evening News, The Athletic, and everybody for transfer news. They basically said, no, you're not having any. We're going to Ornstein and Romano. And remember last summer, that was it. It was Ornstein and Romano. There was one story that was led by the Daily Mail, and I think that was Simon Jones and the Branthwaite story. And I think that by doing that, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And Man United have probably more than any other club utilised these transfer gurus to their benefit, because Mbeumo unsettled by Ornstein's story. But not unsettled in a bad way, not in a like put a transfer request in. That Mbeumo story happened at the start of June, and it basically told the world that Mbeumo wants Manchester United and Man United want him. And it just makes that deal have to happen. All right, it took us a long time, but it makes it have to happen. Last week, Sesko out of nowhere, Ornstein, Man United are in the race and they only want Sesko. And a lot of people read it as, oh, why's that happened? Newcastle are going to pay 90 million. What's going on here? The reason we did that is, David, this is what we want to do. He's out. Yeah, okay. David Ornstein puts it out there, exclusive. And what that did is it basically told Sesko, we only want you. It basically unsettled Sesko to go, oh, I only want Man United as well. Goodbye, Newcastle. And the deal gets done. And I think, again, we've done it again. David, we're going for the hat trick. We want Belieber, and we've had talks with his intermediaries. See you later, have a good weekend, champers. And David Ornstein goes, yeah, Man United have had talks with intermediaries for Belieber in the last few days, and suddenly the whole world knows about it again. The tactic is, we're not unsettling players, we're just publicly expressing our desire for players, and it unsettles the situation in a polite way. Brighton, we respect and like you. Brentford, we respect and like you. Leipzig, we respect and like you. But we want your play.